I'm Justin Thames, Director of Governmental Affairs for the Florida Institute of CPAs, and welcome to this week's edition of Impact Report, your weekly update on all things impacting the CPA profession in Tallahassee. So to wrap up the week, we had the House pass their budget for this session. It was roughly $89 billion, and earlier in the week, the Senate had passed their budget at coming in right about a $90 billion, kind of a gap of roughly $400 million between the two bodies. Now, what that means for the process is that we're going to start working out the differences between the two different budgets. Some of the biggest kind of variances between the two relate to education funding. The House has their own priorities on how they'd like to fund education. Also, some transportation issues. The Senator Galvano wants to expand some road projects across the state. We also saw a huge difference between the House and the Senate as it related to funding for Visit Florida and Enterprise Florida and making sure that tourism in the state was funded. The House doesn't seem to think that is the pathway to move forward, and the Senate wants to go towards the $50 million that they had included in the budget. Just for the record, the governor had included roughly a little over $70 million in his budget proposals for state tourism. So we'll see how that all shakes up during the budget negotiations over the next couple of weeks. But the best thing to include today is that the funding for the Clay Ford Scholarship with the Board of Accountancy was included in the state's budget, both in the House and the Senate, and also unlicensed activity enforcement funding was included to ensure that the Department of Business and Professions has the funds they need to go after unlicensed activity for the accounting profession. Other things we're watching to give you another update on. Unfortunately, it looks like financial literacy may get hung up again this year. The bill started to move in the House, but now is delayed because the House committee that was supposed to hear the bill in the coming week most likely won't meet again. It was an appropriations subcommittee. Most likely won't meet again. So for another year, we might have to hold on and see the financial literacy bill pass. We've seen the dereg bill, deregulation of professional occupations, move forward. It's now moving to the House floor. The Senate still has a little ways to go. If you remember, I mentioned to everybody that the main impact to the profession there is based on the continuing education required for those individuals that come into the state under licensure by endorsement. So not a huge detrimental impact to the profession as far as how your license is treated, but we will see some changes to those CPAs that are coming into the state from other states. Sales tax on services still isn't moving. We're monitoring it to make sure that none of those issues comes up in the tax package that I think the House is going to be working on over the next couple of days. But we're optimistic that proposal won't move forward. That's kind of a wrap up. You can see the bills that we're tracking below. If you have any questions, always reach out to us at govaffairs@FICPA.org. One thing to mention is on April 24th, we're going to have a town hall in Orlando. Deborah Curry, our president CEO, will be there, as long as a representative from Brightline Trains, to talk about some of the issues impacting the profession, and also some of the things that are going on in the region as far as business development, and of course the new train that's coming to town in Orlando. So make sure, if you're in the Orlando area, come see Deborah and hear about the updates for the profession. And with that, we'll see you next week, and we'll keep you updated on all these issues and more. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for all your support.